It's Jayson Tatum's birthday, so it's the Jayson Tatum birthday episode. Is he a future MVP? How much better has he gotten already this season? And the nickname that I think is going to stick right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Primetime dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day, Monday through Friday. I got podcasts for you that are free, that drop directly to your device when you subscribe. Also, bonus podcasts on the weekend. Celtics Lakers on a Saturday night. Yup, I'm there. I'll have a post-game podcast. It's an 8:30 start, so it's going to be a super late one, but it'll be there for you Sunday morning because that's what we do here. So make sure you are subscribed. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comments section there. Share your thoughts and have some fun with fellow Celtics fans. If you're new to the show, I am John Karalis. I have been covering the Celtics for about 20 years or so, and doing it for the past few years as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've also written a couple of books you can pick up on the Celtics. Today is the Jayson Tatum episode. It's his birthday. He's turned 27, the magic 27. And so we are going to discuss it. When I say we, it's me and Tom Westerholm. What's up, Tom?
What up?
What up? It's what like up? the Always Sunny Fight Milk. What up? Find Tom's work over at Boston.com. So Jayson Tatum, 27 years old. 27 is like I've said it before here, it's the magic number. For some reason, something clicks in a basketball player, especially athletes at 27. I don't know why, but it's a thing. And I feel like that thing has kind of hit Jayson Tatum somewhere in the middle of this season. He has become this much better passer. I think as you get older, you understand more what's happening around the league and what's really important. Mm-hmm. And you know, you learn how to kind of conduct yourself, pace yourself, all of that stuff. He's made it's been made a big thing about face of the league. I think I had an interesting discussion recently about it, and face of the league can be whatever you want it to be. So for Celtics fans, I think Tatum is the face of the league. And I think for a lot of fans out there, Jayson Tatum's the third most popular jersey in the NBA. So for a lot of people, he is the face of the league. But in terms of like where he's perceived, where do you see him? Where do you see his stature? You know, where do you see like in the whole hierarchy of the NBA? Where do you see him? What do you see his potential as being?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because it's like, I think one of the things that you see with Tatum is like, you see that the conversation around him gets so muddled, like so quickly, right? Because it's like, because you have the Celtics fans who I think honestly, I feel like Celtics fans have their heads on pretty straight about Jayson Tatum. Like, he's awesome. And like, I don't think you'll see a lot of Celtics fans being like, oh, he should win MVP over Nikola Jokic, right? Like, where it's like,
right.
You don't see kind of those like outlandish sort of arguments about him. Like, he's not going to, like, you know, I'm sorry if you think he's going to win MVP over Jokic or over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's not going to win that. And that is what it is. Like, I think that what you do see is Celtics fans who really appreciate like just how good he is, like how great, like, and how great he is right now, right? Where it's like, he's gotten to a point where every single night he's going to impact winning in some way or another. And like, what a level to have reached at 27, to where it's like, you didn't need to hit 27 to realize that you needed to like pass and manipulate the defense and do all this stuff at such a high level. You did that before 27. You won a championship before 27. You made it to the Eastern Conference Finals however many times before 27. Like you are like that is really impressive. And I think that's where you see a lot of Celtics fans landing on Tatum. And those are just the facts, right? Those are just, that's not like opinion. That's not eye test. That's just like, nope. Here are the hard, cold facts about Jayson Tatum. Here's why he's awesome. Here's why he's a top 5 player. Here's why, like the Celtics are so good because of him. And then I think, you do see some level of conversation around Tatum around the rest of the league that still kind of has, like a wine, right? It has notes of 2021, right? Where it's like people are like, oh, like, I don't know, he's not cool. He's not the Celtics, whatever. All this stuff. Like, my number one thing that I think Celtics fans should take forward with Tatum, is you really don't have to care about this stuff. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The aura argument on Reddit does not matter. All this stupid crap that gets swirled around the Jayson Tatum conversation. Jayson Tatum is a great basketball player who makes the Celtics great, who runs everything. And he's 27. And he's so committed to the Boston project now. Like, that's not something that you would have said in 2021, right? Like, there was real concerns about is this guy, going to stick around with the franchise? Is this, now you hear him, he's openly talking about Boston a lot, about in front of the fans and what it all means to him and what it means to be I would love to be a Larry Bird type legend with the organization, from a guy who's on his way to becoming a Larry Bird type legend within the organization. You have to care about this stuff. Jayson Tatum is great, awesome, all-time franchise type player. I know I keep beating this drum because there's just not that, you just need to appreciate this stuff as it's happening. You need to appreciate Jayson Tatum as it's happening, because you're watching that next face of the franchise, and that matters so much to this franchise.
So many things that I want to say after that. Let's start with, there's a connection to Kevin Durant that I'm saying out loud so we can get to it, so I can remind myself to get to the Kevin Durant.
I got you.
Okay. So let's start with the way he's discussed, because I think one of the things is Celtics fans want him to be discussed in a certain way. And you are 100% correct. It does not matter. But it's annoying when
sure.
Stephen A. Smith, last season, there was Anthony Edwards looks like Michael Jordan. He's got the flair like Michael Jordan. He even has the physically, he reminds you of Michael Jordan. Okay, here we go. And then recently, Stephen A. Smith talking about, I think, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Oh my God, everybody's in a rush. I think Tatum is a victim of the just talk culture, this hot take culture. He is the asbestos of hot take. He is immune. He is the that flame blanket. There's no hot take with Tatum.
Yeah.
As I've said, I was joking around this. We did the Locked On East Squad show, which I had a whole argument with Tatum about Tatum. Tatum is, and you're a gym guy, you get this. Tatum is boiled chicken and white rice in a side of broccoli. It's, if you are hardcore trying to get healthy and you're hardcore going into the boiled chicken, rice, and broccoli is the most bland thing you can eat, but it's going to give you the nutrients, it's going to give you the protein and starch and the vegetable. If you want to be healthy and strong, that is a regular part of your diet. But damn it, it is bland and boring. But Jayson Tatum makes the Celtics strong and healthy, and that's what he is. People don't want that, but they should be eating more of that.
Right.
And I think part of it is that Anthony Edwards is the flashy. He's the whatever, he's he's the Mexican buffet. You know, he's got like the spice to him, and like, yeah, is it great for you? No, but some of it is, and like, you know, it's fun, and you may get a couple margaritas, and who knows what's going to happen. Just like Anthony Edwards, who knows what's going to happen? Is he going to get ejected? Is he going to get a tech? Is he going to throw the ball into the stands? Who knows? Maybe, or he's going to drop 50, and you know, it's going to be a big celebration.
Dunk you into a crater, yeah,
right. Like he does exciting things, and especially in today's social media, like the exciting things get passed around. They go viral all the time. Tatum doesn't go viral. Tatum does not go viral. He does not have a ton of highlights. Every once in a while, he'll have a good one, but no one's going like, oh man, did you see that pick and roll that he ran where he hit that pocket pass to Luke Cornett? Oh man, like,
yeah. But I have an argument about that. I know we need to take a break. I have something to say about that.
Okay, you have something. I got something to say. Kevin Durant, you got something to say about that. So much to say when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by DoorDash. I just talked about Anthony Edwards, and maybe he'll drop 50. Maybe Tatum will drop 50 against the Portland Trailblazers. If they do, then you get a huge deal the next day on DoorDash if you have Dash Pass, because Dash Pass members can get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight after an NBA player scores 50 during the rest of the regular season. So whoever it is, the other day, Steph Curry did it. You could have, if you were on Dash Pass and you use the code NBA50, 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day. You got noon to midnight. So you want lunch on the go, $0 delivery fees, reduced service fees. Boom, you got it. Late night cravings. You want to stay up late, watch a replay of the game, watch a late game. You want to get something delivered. Dash Pass can get you the ability to grab something delicious while saving big. Very simple. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When a player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off, if you use the promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game. It's on eligible orders at participating merchants. You must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go sign up for the Locked On Celtics newsletter. It's at LockedOnDaily.com. Click on the Locked On Celtics logo, like the one on your screen here on YouTube. Sign up, put your email address in, then you get an email from me Monday through Friday with Celtics, NBA, and fantasy coverage from around the Locked On Podcast Network. Open it up, read it. If you miss a podcast, it's a great way to keep up with the show and get a little bit of a synopsis. Maybe you'll decide that you want to listen to the podcast later. So go check it out. LockedOnDaily.com. Click on the Locked On Celtics logo. Enter your email. All right, Tom Westerholm, what do you got to say? What do you got to say about Tatum here?
Well, it actually isn't about Tatum so much. It's more about, like, I do think that, like, it's interesting, right? Because, like, Edwards does occasionally go viral with like the big dunks and stuff like that. But I think the thing that's actually kind of hurts Tatum more than that, because Tatum does, like you said, every once in a while, he really does, like,
oh yeah,
bang one on somebody, right? Like, I think one of the things that hurts him is, like, he's been around a little too long. Like, it's just not that cool to be like a big, like, if you're a Celtics fan, you're cheering for greatness, right? You're cheering for, like, for a guy who's been like that like sustained great longevity. If you're looking for viral, you're not even really looking for Anthony Edwards. You're looking for LaMelo Ball. Like, you're looking for seriously, like, you're looking for something that you don't see all the time. He does weird stuff where you're like, wow, he did that in an NBA game. That's odd. Like, I mean, like you're more interested in something like that than you are, I think, because we've seen freak athletes. Like, we've seen guys do freakish athletic stuff. What we haven't seen is a guy do, like, a one-legged hook shot from 27 feet or whatever, shenanigans LaMelo Ball is getting up to. And it's like, that's what goes viral. But, like, you can't watch their entire games because they're not good. Like, it's not fun to watch them. So, like, Tatum is like, hey, like, if you love watching good basketball and, like, you want to see, like, guys compete and try to, like, win at the highest level, that's what you're watching Jayson Tatum for. And, like, I don't know. I mean, that's like, he's a more adult kind of hooper. You know what I mean? Like, he's a more like, this isn't this isn't Sour Patch Kids. This
Right.
is like a nice, well done dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he's right. He's like he's the restaurant where you have to like they might ask you to wear a jacket.
Yeah.
He's like
yeah,
like Brooks Brothers. Like he's like the store where it's like, okay, this is where grown-ups go to shop. You know what I mean? Like this isn't, you know, that's fine. I do feel like Tatum is in the wrong era in a little, you know, a sort of way. Just in the, I kind of wish that if he was playing in the 80s, you know, before all of this, I think it would have been appreciated. His raw numbers are amazing. It's pre analytics, not that the analytics matter because they're also in his favor, but the raw numbers are good. You don't have to say a lot. Your personality is secondary a little bit. You don't have to be this big brat. Like Larry Bird said stuff, but like Larry, we only heard after the fact,
right,
about how much of a trash talker he was. The story during his career wasn't that he kept talking trash. It was more like later that people were like, oh, really? Larry was that big of a trash talker? Nowadays, that would be out there all the time. Post game, it would be, that would go viral.
Yeah.
And it would be a different story. Like Larry Bird today, completely perceived differently, differently, right? Like
but Larry would go viral because one, the flashy passes, two, he had a mullet. Like he was an odd-looking dude. He'd go viral all the time.
Exactly.
Tatum doesn't go viral, but what Tatum does is he comes off a pick and roll on the right side of the floor and whips the ball across his body, 45 feet to the opposite exact corner, hits a guy in his shooting pocket and creates a three-pointer for him. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to do well on TikTok, but man, does that make you win a heck of a lot of basketball games. And like, again, you're talking about like grown-up basketball. This is for like Tatum is a hooper for the adults. And like, that's not cool. That's not aura. Like, but it's, I don't know, wins you games.
Right. But this is exactly why I think Player A is going to be a great nickname for him. If you don't know, he was in the Washington Post. He made a comment. I don't have the exact quote, but it was like basically saying, if you took his face off of it and said, if Player A had these numbers, you'd be like, wow. But because my face is on them, people like because he's making the same argument where people discuss him differently. But if you said it was Player A doing this, people would love him. And I'm like, Player A is actually a really good nickname. I think it captures the essence of him. It happened organically out of nowhere. I think this can stick. I think this is something that it may take a little time, but if they're smart, Player A becomes a thing moving forward. I don't know. I love it.
I think it's great. I think it speaks to like, you're talking about a guy who like, you say the boiled chicken and rice and broccoli guy, but you're also talking about like, he's a guy who's like kind of not generic. That's not the right way to put it, but he's kind of taken like it's like he's been built in a factory, but like built piece by piece by piece. There's like we took good shooting, and then we added a handle, and then we added, and it's just like everything he did, he just got good at every aspect of the game, and now he's good at every aspect of the game now. Like I don't know, like, and it's like there's an anonymity to that, like a genericness to it that isn't. It's not an insult. It's just like he's just good at everything, like
he is literally, if you could build a basketball player, and this is funny. This is funny because if you could build a basketball player and you didn't know Jayson Tatum, you might actually build Jayson Tatum.
Yeah.
Because you want a guy that's like 6'9", 6'10". You want a guy with some size. Mm-hmm. You want a guy who can shoot and dribble and initiate the offense, but also a guy who can post, a guy who can pass, a guy who can defend, block shots. He's got
a lot of rebounds. Like,
And now, especially lately, he's like flirting with triple doubles a lot lately. Yeah. He's he's got the right type of body. He's got an NBA body. He's not too jacked. He's not too thin. He's gotten to a really good place. He's like great to his mom. He's a great dad. He is like personable. He's not like flashy, outgoing, like personality wise, on
He's not going to start anything. Like he's not going
right,
to.
right. But like he does have personality, by the way. I've
He does.
seen actual Jayson Tatum personality. It just doesn't outwardly put it
He's
to the media.
He's pretty funny. Like
He is like he's actually
low
like
key, but yeah.
and like I do see like, and I don't even see it a lot, but I do see it some. And like who wouldn't want that guy? If your argument against Tatum is like he's just boring or he's like you said, whatever, then I'll take boring over problem, right?
Yeah.
Literally no. You're right. He's not going to start anything. He's not getting into any trouble. And then on top of it, with all of his money, he's like starting to give back and all of that stuff. And by the way, I know this is a Jayson Tatum episode. I want to throw this, out to the Jaylen Brown folks too. His birthday's in October. We can celebrate him when the next season, when the season starts again. Same idea, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Jaylen also same. The Celtics are so damn lucky
It's unreal.
to have like two great players. You can say whatever you want. You like Jaylen, you like Jayson, whatever, but two human beings who are like every team should want these guys on their team. Like he neither gets into trouble. They're all respectful. They're giving back. They're doing all. It's perfect. I cannot stress enough how lucky Boston is to have these two guys around. So
and then their role players, right, are Derek White, not getting into a lick of trouble. Like Derek White, known troublemaker. Derek White, bringing beer to the locker room and everything. like what are we doing here? Like if anybody's like embraced, like who's embraced Boston more than Derek White? Like
seriously,
Drew Holiday, the chillest dude of literally like I've ever seen in the NBA. Like I don't know who would be chiller. Al Horford, who's literally the dad. Like that, he's just known as dad. To like, he's got 5 kids now. He's like, but also like the locker room. So realistically, he's got like 16 kids, and they're all just kind of like milling around in the locker room every day. Like, there's like
true.
Yeah, the whole team is built this way. But yeah, but it starts at the top, and like it's like your 2 best players are that kind of perfect mentality for this type of team.
All right. Now I'll get to my Kevin Durant thing.
Yes.
We'll do that when I come back.
All right.
Today's show is brought to you by Open Phone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone. And before you know it, you're juggling customer calls all day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal phone number. That's where Open Phone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. So important. For just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries so you can have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. Right now, OpenPhone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OpenPhone, OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off 6 months. OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA. If you have an existing number with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Check out Locked On NBA. Get onto that feed. Subscribe. You get 2 podcasts, Locked On NBA Game Night, which covers every game in the association every night of the week. I host on Fridays with Jake Madison, plus Locked On NBA in the middle of the day. It's a debate show style covering the big stories in the league. So 2 podcasts on 1 feed. Go check that out where you found this podcast. Okay, here's my Kevin Durant thing. Do you think that when you talked earlier about flight risk, when he was earlier, talking, there was some question, like you never know. He grew up a Lakers fan. He's from St. Louis.
Wanted to
He
get drafted
loves-
by Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there's lots of stories that you could look at and be like, okay, let's see. He has, you're right, really seemed to is lately, especially
Like over the
grasp,
last year and a half. Yeah.
yeah, really grasp his standing in history. Partly because he's making history here.
Mhm.
He's here in Boston. He sees the legends. He sees the jerseys, the numbers retired, the banners. He sees this Celtic City, like the way the team is talked about. And you have Kevin Durant, who has bounced around, has won a championship, has won championships, but has bounced around and has a legacy as a great, but like he doesn't lead any particular team really. And I don't know what his standings are in OKC. He probably has some numbers there, but OKC, Brooklyn, Golden State, Phoenix, it just, I'm going to say it never seems to work out. He won obviously championships in Golden State, but even that ended kind of like on a sour note. I wonder if you look at a guy like him and you say, yeah, he's an all-time great. But then you look at a Larry Bird and you go, that is a legend.
Yeah.
With this franchise. Like you see Paul Pierce come back and KG come back and own the city. You see former players come back and own the city. Why wouldn't you want to be not just an NBA all-time great, you're going to go into the Hall of Fame, but to own like Celtics records, to potentially become the Celtics all-time leading scorer, to put your name at the top of the list when you look at all of the names in this franchise's history. You put your name at the top above all of those guys. Listen, man, everybody's different, but if I had an opportunity to do that, I would be like all about it. Unless they expand in St. Louis and you want to go home,
Right.
I would be like, look, put my name above Larry Bird, put my name above John Havlicek, put my name on top of all of these greats. You look at all of the record books and it's Jayson Tatum and then everybody else. Man, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, and it's not even me. But imagine being that guy. Why wouldn't you want to be that?
I really think that you're onto something. I blue skied this the other day. I don't know how you would say that.
I've been told they're called skeets.
I have also been told that, and I hate it. So I blue skied it the other day. But blue ski. But yeah, I did a blue ski the other day. I thought it was actually based. Mirren Fader had a nice profile on Cade Cunningham. And he talked about there's no going to find greener grass, just water your grass before anything. And it stood out to me, right? Because I think it's going to be really interesting. I think obviously there's going to be toxic situations for superstars. Guys are going to want to leave. That's not going to go away necessarily. But I do think that I think you might get more stars who take a look at your Kevin Durant's, your Kyrie Irving's, your James Harden's, these guys who were great players who accomplished big things, but who there's not a franchise out there really claiming James Harden as like, man, that's our guy. Maybe Houston, I guess,
Maybe.
but
even that.
And it's like, you're Kevin Durant, nobody claims him. Even the place he won, nobody claims him. And these guys are all-time greats, awesome all-timer basketball players who just, they don't really have a spot that is like, man, that we love that guy. If you're Cade Cunningham and you look around, right, and you're like, okay, how do I want my basketball career to go? I could do the Kevin Durant thing and bounce around and be great in a bunch of different places. I could do the James Harden thing, bounce around, be great in a bunch of different places. Or I could do the Jayson Tatum thing. And when things are tough here in Detroit, I work through them. And then I build that bond with that city of I worked through this. We worked through this together. I stuck with you. You stick with me. Now this is my city You know, these
Yeah.
are my records. This is my franchise. I'm at the top of these record books, and like I loved you, you love me. Like that's so much
Yeah.
more real. There's so much more there to that. You know, I think that like, yeah, I think if I'm Tatum, I mean, like, because for one thing, right? If you're Cade Cunningham, that's great and everything. Like, you know, go do that. I think he should do that. Like, he's doing great. Detroit looks good, but that's like the Pistons and like great franchise, right? Long
Sure.
time franchise, a
Sure.
lot of accomplishments in that franchise. I'm not dumping on them at all, but if you're a Tatum and you can do that with the Celtics,
Yeah.
goodness, like
Yeah.
that's basketball history.
Yeah.
That's really meaningful stuff. So no, I think I'm right there with you. You start putting yourself above Bird in Boston.
Yeah.
Oof.
I just hope I only hope the business side of things allows him to do that as well.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be a point where the Celtics are going to have to like rebuild and retool. And, you know, my expectation is always that no one finishes their career in the same spot anymore. But I don't know, like there are exceptions, Steph Curry, you know, but at the same time, it's like,
but even if you spend, even if you like do another contract in Boston and then you leave Boston, like the numbers that he's going to have put up by that point are going to be astronomical. And like at that point, I still think that there's a franchise who claims you. You know, like if you put in that much time in a franchise, you won a championship. I think he's already stamped himself in Boston that way because he's won a championship. He's already, you know, like I think even if he doesn't finish his career with the team, there's a lot of stuff there.
I hope he at least gets through the significant portion of his career. I don't know what's gonna happen in St. Louis. I think for him, you could stake a claim. I think the story of Jayson Tatum, if he becomes seen as arguably the greatest player in franchise history, which is obviously it's tough with Bill Russell and Larry Bird, right? But if he tops, let's just say he becomes the all-time leading scorer. You go back to the days of when the Celtics were really truly born. It was the Bill Russell trade where the Celtics became the Celtics. The trade was with the St. Louis Hawks. And there's the birth of the Celtics as perennial champions starts with the St. Louis Hawks and the Boston Celtics arranging for a trade that did win the St. Louis Hawks, by the way, a championship. Just throw that out there. But it got the Celtics the first of all of their titles. And on the other end, to be like a St. Louis kid after this first St. Louis trade, that's a hell of a story to write. And I call dibs on that. But it'd be so great for Jayson Tatum to be able to there is a connection there. There is that thing of like, from St. Louis came the birth of this franchise, and through it is a common thread of championships that now this St. Louis kid has won 1, 2, maybe more. I don't know. And become the all-time leading scorer. That's it. The story writes itself. The only question now, and the last thing on here is, can he become an MVP? Is there a future MVP?
Also, his passing has improved. There, we covered the bullet point.
His passes, well, yes. I mentioned that. I mentioned that before.
That's true.
But I think that improved passing is what unlocks his MVP potential. Like it's not going to happen this year, right? No. Because Jokic, I think it's Jokic, but it might be SGA, and that's fine too.
I don't think there's a wrong answer there.
Yeah, kind of isn't.
I'd go Jokic too, but
yeah.
If you want to make your case about SGA, sure. Yep.
Yeah, it's like it's not wrong. I mean, I'll argue it, but it's not wrong. But moving forward, especially if if Drew Holiday leaves next year or somebody else leaves next year, and Tatum still does this, and the Celtics are still good. There's more of a case there. And who knows what happens with Jaylen Brown? I've said a lot of times, like, I do think Jaylen is more of the flight risk because he's very much my journey is this, and maybe he feels like his journey goes a different direction.
Yeah.
It just feels like more in his kind of wheelhouse that his path takes him somewhere, and he's like, you know what? My Boston path is done. Or maybe his Boston path is forever as well. Who knows? But however it goes, people are going to leave this team. And if Tatum is the one that stays, and if the team continues to be good, there might be he just needs an MVP. If he can get an MVP on top of a championship, multiple championships too would be amazing. Then you have the numbers, banners, plural, an MVP in there. Then you like, yeah, he's stamped, but like when you create your Mount Rushmore and you know that Larry and Bill are there, and you'd be like, well, it's Larry, Bill, and Red. Like those are the three. And are you going to replace, I don't know, right now it's probably Paul Pierce as the fourth, but it could be Havlicek, it could be Kuzi, could be like, it's like the three in stone and one kind of like picture hanging there. And it's like, you take that picture out. Can you chisel Jayson Tatum's face in stone as the absolute fourth face on Boston Celtics Mount Rushmore? We're kind of close, but if you do those other things, and I think he now, because of the passing, I think he does have an MVP in his future, which I didn't think so to start the season, but now with this level of passing, I think that changes things. I think he could be on that path. I
agree. And I think to like, just to every point we've made so far, what a path to be on. Like what like what a career to be having. But before you turn 27, like bonkers. Like just really insane stuff.
Well, now he is 27.
Yeah,
so
man.
Now we get to see. That was all the preamble. That was all the opening act. Now comes the show.
Here comes the prime.
Here comes everything that was leading up to this was just the appetizer. The main course is yet to come with Jayson Tatum. Now, if you put it that way, oh my God.
Yep.
Pretty good. All right, Tom Westerholm, appreciate you as always.
Appreciate you, man.
And I do appreciate everybody listening, watching, however you watch, however you listen, wherever you watch or listen. Thank you so much. I love it when people come up to me at the games. It's so much fun to meet listeners and watchers and viewers and all that stuff. So thank you for that. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. That way the show gets dropped directly to your favorite podcasting app, whichever one it is. We're there. We're on all of them. But you can always watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section, share your thoughts there, and then share the podcast and tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.